Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, welcome to another episode of But Am I Wrong? Starring two people who have not once ever been wrong.
Never, ever, 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 ever.
No, we're both taking very strong stances in our outfits today. You can check out the video on Patreon. Melissa is a pro-vaxxer. I also am, but today I'm a Jonas brother. This is a sweatshirt that I love so dearly that I got from the premiere of their Happiness Begins documentary. That's what it's called, right? That's what the album is called.
No clue.
And to this day, I put that like at the peak of my list, the fact that I've been a Jonas Brothers fan for so long, so loudly and so proudly, that they reached out to me when this was coming and said, hey, big fan, hop on over to the West Side, come to the premiere. And I said, say less, motherfuckers. I will be there.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
They have a song, and I
Mhm.
have the lyrics in my head, but I don't think they're the actual lyrics.
That's okay. I can work with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, burning up.
But what are the words?
Now
Is
that
it
you've done
you're
it.
hot and
No,
I'm
hold
not, or I'm hot and you're not?
No, it's neither. It's
Oh, I just found that shoe we were looking for the tripod. It's right here.
oh my God. That's called a shoe?
Yep. You said that the last time and the time before that.
You guys, there's something like actually more wrong with my brain than normal. No, fuck, Melissa, now that you have that in my head, that's what it's coming. That's like what it's coming. But no, it's I'm hot, you're cold.
Oh.
I'm hot, you're cold.
When I
You
said
go
still
around like you
White
know.
context.
What?
Same context, though.
Yeah, no, because it's called Burning Up.
I didn't
We've
know the
got some
name of
flame
it.
motif. Anyways,
All right.
welcome to But Am I Wrong? This is a podcast where we, two people who have not once ever been wrong, talk about so many different things involving other people being wrong. You might be wrong. It could be the rare occurrence where we're actually wrong. And we have 3 different segments. We will explain each one of them before we get into them. But what you really need to know is we want you to participate, not just by writing in and sending in your submissions for one of our segments, but we also want you to vote on who you think was wrong in each aspect of this show. And we do that by posting some stories over on our Instagram. You can check them out in the highlights as well. And you vote who you think was wrong in each situation. And then you can also reply to those DMs, respond, and we read all of the results as well as your messages, why you voted the way you did. Sometimes we have people who are like the original person from the write-in talking about like what has happened or answering any of our questions. And we read those on our See You Next Tuesday episode. So just know that the votes will be up for last week's episode, everyone, I promise.
If they should be up right now. If
Oh,
not,
okay. I thought you said that. Okay.
we should be recording the episode as they're listening. We will be recording the same day. When they listen to this on Monday, we should be recording See You Next Tuesday.
So if you think that you missed last week's, that's coming. We were recording it the day that you're listening to this, if you're listening to this on the day it's released.
Uh-huh.
We have a new schedule, everyone. And my brain, I need those Ollie Focus gummies. This brain is dusty. So we are going to get into our first segment, right?
Yeah.
And that is But Am I Wrong? Where we either give a hot take or a circumstance that we have found ourselves in that we want to know if we're in the wrong. It can also just be a rant. Now, mine, I want to say it's a lukewarm take. It's not. It is solely a rant because I don't think the vast majority of people need to hear this. I didn't know anyone needed to hear this.
And this might be new information to me.
Mm-hmm. And it is, don't overstay your welcome. I have, like most people, apparently, possibly not Melissa, because we'll see if she's heard this, have been so deep in the key look TikTok wedding makeup artist saga.
No clue what you're talking about.
This makeup artist gets on her TikTok and she herself brings what Jesse and Lily refer to as reverse receipts, where it's like you just offer up information that makes you look really bad that no one knew about, that you think is doing something and it's actually not, and like you should have just not said anything because like no one would have known.
Wait, I think I might know what this is. I think I saw Mecca talking about it. Yep. And Mecca does a thing where she starts as if you already know the story, and I had no clue what she was talking about.
That's my favorite part about Mecca.
Huh?
That's my favorite part about Mecca because
me too. But in this one, I didn't know.
Then you go, now I have to do my research.
Like, I think it might have been very early or very late when I was looking at it. I was like, I don't have time to go through this.
So I can't wait for you to do a deep dive after, but I'll give you the spark notes. This is a makeup artist who also trains other makeup artists. Like this is like her studio. They do weddings and stuff, but she also teaches like classes and seminars and like help other people become freelance makeup artists and stuff. So like she is not new to this. She's at the top of her game and is getting paid accordingly for all of this. She posted a TikTok and it starts like part 1. I, for the first time in my career, got kicked out of a wedding that I was doing my bride's makeup at. And so, of course, we're all like, oh, okay, what's happening? Like, this is dramatic. So nobody went into this going like, you're in the wrong. No one was anticipating that. And she talks about how she had found out the day before that she had been cheated on. And so she was like up all night crying and was like so devastated and was like, I can't do this. I was going to send somebody else. And I was like, you know what? I can power through. There's a lot of like inspirational kind of quotes in there where being like, I can do this. I deserve this. I am worthy. And I'm like, okay, go. Amazing. Love that for you. So she is like doing the makeup and she keeps talking about how people book her because she's got a great personality. And everyone loves personality. They're having fun. And she's like showing everybody having fun and basically being like, can you believe after all of this, these same people kicked me out? And she's like filming everyone, all of the bridesmaids, like the mother-in-law, and everyone's saying how funny she's like, everyone's saying how funny I am, how great I am, how much they love me. And like, this is always what happens to me. Like brides always even want me to like, they say to come to the wedding and like do all of this kind of stuff because like they just want me around. Like I bring a really great vibe. And it's kind of like a lot. And I was like, okay, I mean, I can't hear these people saying that. They seem like they're just laughing along. As someone who laughs when they're uncomfortable, I don't necessarily know that the motivation behind their politeness and friendliness. And she is, you know, she's like, I'm dealing with the breakup, all of this kind of stuff. She's talking to everybody. And then the wedding, the makeup, she like pauses in the middle of doing the bride's makeup and is taking more content. And she says that like she has like a release that everyone signs saying that like she's going to be taking content and photos and stuff for the makeup stuff. And she ends up getting, I think, over an hour or 2 hours behind because she took a break from doing the bride's makeup to take some more content. She's having them all do these TikToks and doing all of this stuff. And the bride says like, oh, my husband, he doesn't want to do social stuff. She's not hired to do content creation for this wedding. Then, you know, she finishes everything and she then goes to the cocktail hour because she goes, oh, she didn't get enough content. And so she then goes to where the first look is happening and getting more content. She goes to the bridesmaids, seeing the reveal of the bride's wedding dress. And you can see from the angle that in her video, you can see the videographer and the cameras because she's on the other side in the content of the first look of the showing the dress to the bridesmaids. Then we get more videos and photos of the wedding, and you get an angle where she's standing in the aisle. She's standing in front of the photographer and the videographer based on this angle. She's in the aisle. And she like talks about how like the groom, they had like a little bit of the vibe was fine, and then it got a little weird because she's like, well, I lost his lighter because they were smoking and drinking. She was smoking and drinking, and she lost his lighter, and she was like, chill, dude, it's just a lighter. And then she was like, I offered to go to my car to get him one back. Then she talks about how she's taking pictures with the groomsmen and making them do TikToks, and like it's countless TikToks, countless content with everybody over and over and over again. And she's like, oh my God, I've been on my feet for so long. You guys are like, yeah, aren't you tired? Trying to hint to her to be like, go home. This is like super weird, very uncomfortable. No one knows like really what to say. And she's been like thanked for her time and all of the things that you would do to be like, okay, time to go. And then she keeps putting the groom in content, and finally he snaps and he said, you're really getting on my fucking nerves. She cries, breaks down, pulls the bride aside, is sobbing to the bride, having the bride console her, and then
on her fucking wedding day.
And then she's like, I'll just leave. And the bride's like,
good.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sorry. Like, you don't, no, he's just frustrated. You don't have to. Like, I'm sorry. Like that. She gets in her car to leave. And as she's driving, she said, I deserve to be there. Turns around, goes back to the wedding, hanging out with the groomsmen, hanging out. And take in mind, this is also a Jewish wedding. And part of the thing she said, which I don't want to like say that this is what happened, but she talked about how she like went into the room and it was just the bride and the groom there. And to me, when there are specific things that happen at a Jewish wedding, like where it is the bride and groom together, not just like the ceiling of like signing the things or whatever, but like stuff that's just them, that I'm like, is that what you walked in on? Like, that's really fucking crazy. If that is what it is, I don't know. But like, based on the weird information she's giving us, it's a possibility. So she comes back after she has been kicked out. And it now gets to the point where security comes over and is like, the wedding coordinator comes over and it's like, you need to leave. And she was like, I was invited. And she's like, the bride and groom need you to leave. And she was like, no, it's just the groom. The groom's an asshole, blah, 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 whatever. Like, the bride wants me here. And she like tries to go over to the bride, and the bride's like, oh, thanks so much. Thank you. Bye. And she made a whole TikTok, a whole video series about all of this, about how cruel it was that these people did this to her. And then she essentially doubles down by, you look on her profile and you look on the videos she posted after and before. This is what she does. She has a whole slideshow of her at the people's weddings. She has a whole slideshow of her in the bridesmaid photos with other brides. She did this the day before at the last wedding that she was at, crying the entire time, sobbing hysterically while she was doing their makeup, and tried to invite herself to that wedding too.
So not only is she making content out of other people's wedding, getting in their pictures, taking up time for them, making herself the main character, actually the villain of their story, of their wedding, but she thinks she's the main character, having them console her, saying that she's a personality hire, and then also making a bad name for herself, because now who's going to hire her after this?
And she's a whole team of people. And like, she does great work. Everyone looked gorgeous. She does beautiful makeup. And I'm sure she has a great personality. That is honestly a prerequisite to being in like the beauty side of things, hair and makeup. Like, there's a lot of socializing that comes with that. So like, that's awesome. But it ends when you're done. Why are you taking pictures of the groomsmen? You didn't do their makeup. Like, and also this couple is not on social media. The bride has not even posted since 2018.
And the bride also said that the groom did not want to be on social media. So then you disregarded that.
And do you wonder when this wedding might have occurred?
No, tell me.
Probably less than a week ago, considering the bride and groom are on their honeymoon, and she has posted all of the videos and photos before they've even seen the ones from their actual photographer, before they've posted anything.
No.
So the bridesmaids, the maid of honor, the sister of the groom, everybody was in the comments of this woman being like, please take this down. This is such a huge invasion of our privacy. This is not what any of us agreed to do when you said you wanted to take photos of our makeup seemingly for your promotional, like for your website, for your Instagram. But like, what are you? No, this is like so inappropriate. And now these other brides are coming out of the woodwork of like the last, you know, specifically in the last like week or so who've done, who they did their weddings or they were at weddings they were at. And even guests of the wedding are commenting on all of this and just being like, what are you doing? It's one of those things that like I, as someone who sometimes really needs people to be blunt with social cues or like needs people to be blunt with what they're saying or what they mean. Or if I like say 3 things and someone says one thing, I go, okay, so which one was that? Like sometimes I need clarification. I know that about myself. So I make sure that when I am, I don't infer into what people are saying because I know I might pick the wrong one, because I know I have a tendency to misread that. So I'm going to double check and clarify. And I'm always going to err on the side of, hey, you're not always so great at this without specifics. So you're going to seek specifics. It is totally fine. If social cues are not your thing, then you need to know that about yourself and make sure that you proceed accordingly with that in your life and knowing that that's something that you struggle with. And obviously, and because I don't think she wanted to make them uncomfortable. Like, I don't think she wanted to, I don't think her intention was to, I think when she posted the video, her intention was to piss them off because she felt slighted by them. But in the moment, I don't think she was like, oh, these people are super uncomfortable and like, I'm having fun with that. But it's like, at a certain point, this is not, when you receive the feedback and she was deleting comments from all of the bridesmaids, and I was like, okay, cool. So now it's not a point of being like, oh, miscommunication here. This is blissfully and willfully ignorant and wanting to be the center of attention as well as the victim when you're really the villain.
But also, when you've already been kicked out and you get to the car and you say, I deserve to be here, what is going through your mind at that point?
Yep. Deserve what? And she's like, we're all like friends at this point. And I'm like, and even she like talked about, she's like, you know, these people book me like a year in advance. We have a relationship up until then. And she was like, you know, they messaged me saying, what was that product you said I should get? And I was like, that never happens. I'm telling you right now. Are you asking people to bring their own makeup to the what? Like, no, that's you. But if they are asking about what that product was, that's a business relationship. You provided a service. But she's saying that happens before the wedding. And I'm like, from the trial, like, they'll see you again at the wedding. And if they're like, oh, let me remember what that was. Even that's if an email. It was true, that's not like a friend thing. That is, you are providing a service and they're asking for your expertise that's being paid for. Yeah. And like, you know, there's a lot of people who like, this is brand new to me. There are a lot of people who are like, I work as like a vendor in the industry and like, it is not uncommon for people to just politely offer to let the vendors stay for the wedding, which to me, I'm like, what? Like, that's so like, that seems really odd to me, but it's customary to do that in like, you just know someone's being polite and like, it's not like you're supposed to stay or whatever like that. And they're like, and that's kind of like the first thing you learn. And for the fact that like, she's the one mentoring and teaching other people, she shouldn't need someone else to tell her to not stay and like tell her that she needs to go. And it does seem like she's probably hankering for an invite. And because someone didn't explicitly say, no, you can't come, she takes that as they want me at their wedding. And she has a whole fucking slideshow of her at other people's weddings, crying at the wedding. Why is she crying? She didn't get broken up with every week, does she? No. You know what? Honestly, she might. Yeah. With the way she's acting, she seems like the kind of person that's constantly being broken up with and then forgiving and getting back together. She also, to me, seems like the kind of person who might think that someone has an extended look at them and they are actually dating. Mm-hmm. And then they look away and they break eye contact and that's the breakup. Okay, well, yeah, you're not wrong. Leave when you're supposed to leave. And if you get kicked out, don't think that you're entitled to be back there. And don't expect someone to have to lay it out to you saying, I need you to leave and go home immediately. You're making me uncomfortable. People are not going to, and if you need people to be that direct, you actually have to be more direct. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to take a break. And when we get back, we'll get into my But Am I Wrong?
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
All right, we're back. And it's time for my But Am I Wrong? And mine is in a continuance of our 2024 election coverage.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an undecided voter at this point and you go on any type of media to share your opinions about why you're an undecided voter, then you're just a media whore. And here's why. A lot of times, first of all, these two candidates couldn't be more different. So I don't know.
Say it again.
I mean, I feel like the people that know, and the people that don't know
want to vote for Trump. Just say it.
The people that don't know, they are going to vote for Trump, and they're trying to make it seem like that this is a split decision. So after every debate, any big speech some speeches that the candidates are making, there's always some type of panel of undecided voters sitting there talking about why they're undecided. And I just don't understand how on this 2 days ago, when the first debate was between these two candidates, how you can be undecided. Because as someone that is following both candidates very closely, one, because like I respect them, and the other because I need to know what batshit crazy thing that they're going to say next. They have not changed anything about what they've said since their respective conventions, because that's how it works. You don't change anything because they're known as stump speeches. The stump speeches are supposed to be the same everywhere you go because you're talking to, back in the day, we didn't have the kind of media coverage that we have now. So then they would go to these different places, give the same speeches. It's consistent. They're getting their message across. Routine. It's the same thing that they're doing, the same thing that is posted on their website. It's the same stuff verbatim. Nothing that was said at that debate on Tuesday night was anything different than any of what either one of them said when they accepted their nomination from their party. It's not anything different. They have not changed any stance. So to sit there and not have the time to read anything on their websites, the candidates' websites, if you're serious about voting, and at this point you haven't gone and sat and looked on the website and looked at this is what they're running on, you haven't listened to any of their other speeches, like that makes no sense. It makes zero sense at all. Because if you have time to sit, get your makeup done, and go sit on television, then you have time to read an article and then sit there and be like, well, he seems presidential and what she has to say about the economy, it's not clear. Did we watch the same thing?
That man has not said a coherent sentence in about 27, 28 years. Like,
this is now the third time that he is running for president. And he was asked on Tuesday night about Obamacare.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he didn't have a plan when asked what his plan was to make it better. He said he didn't have a plan. He basically just said, I have thoughts about a plan. This is your third time running for president. How do you not have an actual plan?
Mm-hmm. That's so
how are we cutting to Bill from Idaho that's like nothing that they said will change is able to swing me. I think I'm leaning more towards Trump.
We know, Bill.
We already knew that.
Bill, because every time a woman talks, you go, wah, 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 wah. I couldn't hear what you said.
You're a media whore. You're a media whore.
Mm-hmm. Bill, make an OnlyFans. Make a fucking OnlyFans, right. Bill.
Make a TikTok. You can talk about how much you love Trump.
Yeah. Get an adult coloring book, Bill.
I'm just so tired.
Obnoxious. Like, I forgot. I didn't think they still did that.
They are still doing it.
That's actually insane.
When every news outlet, including Fox, says Kamala Harris clearly won this.
Yes.
When you have Geraldo Rivera and Bill O'Reilly talking about how good Kamala Harris was.
When the only thing they have to lean on is that she was definitely wearing an earpiece because she was fed things, because how would she know how to say that? How would she remember all those things? And I go, welcome to being competent for the job.
But you have these people that are so right-wing that are media personalities. Like, it's their jobs to be media whores. But they say that there's a clear winner, and you were like, I don't know.
And the only criticism they have is she's too well-spoken. She's too good at it. And then Bill goes, I don't know about that. My guy.
Get it? Like, stop giving these people the time of day in the media coverage, because it's just a waste. It's a waste. The only time I think that this is actually effective is when it's the primaries.
Yeah.
And you have people from the same party all vying for the Democratic or the Republican nomination. I get it. You might be undecided because people have similar points. I get that. But on September 12th, when we're less than 2 months away from an election, when one person has already been president before, and we saw how that went, get it together.
I wholeheartedly agree. There are people who are like in my messages being like, you are so critical of the Democratic, like of Biden, and now just like the switch up is crazy. And I go, babe, that's the primaries. But I got what I wanted, which was I didn't vote for Biden, and the DNC couldn't get me off of their fucking ass of saying, give me a new fucking candidate. They couldn't get me out of their text messages. They couldn't get me out of their emails. They couldn't get out of me harassing them for it. And you know what they did? They did what I wanted. And then you know what I say? I say, thank you. I'm voting for her.
When Biden was running it's not technically his first time, the last time.
Yeah, neither of us were primary Biden girls.
No. We voted for Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, publicly, we were Warren girls. Like, and it's just crazy to me because I'm like, those people, specifically on the left, quote unquote, who are like coming at me for this. I go, who'd you vote for in the primaries? Why would I vote in the primaries? I go, cool. So this whole like pretend act of like defiance, there's actually a time and a place for that, and that's actually called the primaries. You missed the cutoff.
You missed the cutoff.
You have 30 minutes. You missed it.
30 minutes. And the thing is if Kamala had stayed in, I would have voted for her the first time too. But she dropped out early because clearly they had already made a deal. They knew what
we were in the parking garage of their workout class, and you go, she dropped out, and we both went, VP!
Yep.
And we were like, sick, happy for her. It took like, 2 weeks to announce it? But we were like, no, we know what's happening.
We know what's happening. So, here we go. This is where we are. So, if you're undecided, just say who you're actually voting for, and that's Donald J. Trump.
Say what your single issue is. Say what your single issue you're voting for is. To stop pretending that stop pretending that there are so many slight, minute differences between the two. They could not be more polar opposite. So just tell me what the single issue you're voting for is then.
Yep.
I'd respect you more.
So That's my hot take.
I love it. I agree wholeheartedly.
Thank you. Well, we're going to take another break and then we'll get into But Are You Wrong?
Do you love Disney? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the magical millennial.
And I'm the dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. There is nothing we don't cover.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everyone, join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melisa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
Each week, we deliver 4 fun-filled shows.
In Don't Blame Me, we tackle our listeners' dilemmas with hilariously honest advice.
Then we have But Am I Wrong, which is for the listeners that didn't take our advice. Plus, we share our hot takes on current events.
Then tune in to see you next Tuesday for our listener poll results from But Am I Wrong?
And finally, wrap up your week with Fisting Friday, where we catch up and talk all things pop culture.
Listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
We are back. It's time for But Are You Wrong? And this is where you send a submission into butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. We ask that you keep it under 300 words and you tell us a circumstance or situation you found yourself in that you want to know if you are in the wrong about. So please include your age. You can include your pronouns if you would like, but if there are multiple people involved in this story you're telling us, please include their ages as well. But it's all anonymous, so you can use fake names and we won't blow your cover. First up, hey Eminem, longtime listener, first time submitting a But Am I Wrong? Let's jump right into it. I'm currently dating my best friend's brother, and I have not told her about it.
Oh.
And you're going to have to do a lot of work for me to think that you're not wrong. I hate keeping the secret, but the relationship is only about a month in. I don't think she'd be too happy either. I haven't had a serious relationship in years, so I've done a lot of quote-unquote bed hopping. She never judged me before, but I feel like things would be a little different with her knowing my entire sexual background, and it's her brother. She knows I'm seeing someone, but I haven't said who. I just said it's too new, so I want to wait until I introduce him to our friend group. I'm not sure if she will be mad at me for keeping it from her. She will. It was actually her brother's idea. He just got out of a serious relationship a few months ago and worries people will think he moved on too soon or cheated during that relationship, which he totally didn't do. We only started talking recently. Am I wrong for not disclosing who my mystery man is to my BFF? Thanks for your advice. Yep.
Do you think this is going to be a Chandler and Monica situation with Ross? Is that what you think?
Also, the only reason why they both survived that was because he had an anger issue blow up at school and he got prescribed, like, I think they called them tranquilizers, like serious heavy-duty anti-anxiety medication. That man was pilled out. Mm-hmm. So unless you're planning on pilling out your best friend, a.k.a. his sister, I don't think she should be held responsible for her actions.
No. So your friend, this is what you say, your friend thinks you're a whore.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you also think you're a whore.
Which I don't agree with. Like, why should I judge somebody for getting it in where they want to get it in?
No.
And if your friend is thinking that, I would rethink the friendship.
My question is, though, that you said that, like, I've done bed hopping. She knows and she's never judged me, but it would be a little different with her knowing my entire sexual background and her brother. And I go, and I want to know, are you the kind of friend who sits down at brunch and you go, you're never going to believe how big the dick in my ass was last night? Because that is very different than being like, oh, yeah, I hooked up with so-and-so. Or like, oh, are you seeing anyone? You're like, oh, yeah, that guy, remember him? Yeah, we hooked up. And if you're not giving, if you are used to giving, like, yeah, I love to give sloppy, like, and specifically what you like. Like, I like to call guys daddy in bed while they grab my ass and cover me in Fruity Pebbles.
And then growl and talk me through it.
Then she has to envision her fucking brother.
Fucking.
Exactly. So you have two options. Regardless, you're wrong. You have two options. You break up with him. You fake amnesia. You've never seen this man in your life before. And he's like, whatever happened to us? And you go, I don't know what you're talking about. Or two, you and him literally leave this life behind, hop across the sea, never see the rest of these people again and you live happily ever after.
I disagree.
You can't do... This is crazy.
I disagree with both of those. I think at this point, since you've already waited it out, you keep waiting it out to see.
Well, you do seem chaotic.
Yeah. You wait it out to see if this is actually going to be a serious relationship. And if it's going to be serious, then you tell her. And you say, hey, you stop talking about your bed hopping. You stop talking about dicks in your ass if that's how far you were going.
Talking about I have a mystery man that you'll meet. Yeah.
No, you already know him.
He's in your family.
Yeah. Like you have to make it so that like you stop talking about this guy altogether, which I think also when people do meet the person that they're going to be with, they do usually stop talking about it anyway.
Yeah.
So it would have happened anyway. So you stop talking about him. Just say that I'm with somebody that I know you're going to absolutely love.
You might have fought with them in the past.
Yeah.
You guys, if I squint, you kind of look alike.
That's actually part of his charm. What I like about him.
He reminds me of you.
He's like the male version of you.
Boyish charm. I feel like I've known him my whole life.
Yeah. Anyway, you stop talking about him altogether. Just let her know that you're safe. You're with a good guy that you like. And if this is transpiring, then y'all have to sit down with him, with her together and say, hey, and you both got to be buttering it up from both directions. Like he's talking about this great girl that he's with. And then one day you're like, let's go to brunch. And she's like, I've already got plans with my brother. And then you're like, yeah, me too. And y'all show up. And you hold hands.
If you have to wear a GoPro so I can see it.
It has to be in public so that, she may not, it's less likely that she'll beat your ass if she doesn't approve of both. Either way, she could think that her brother is terrible for you. It could backfire either way. But I think, unless she's one of these people that wants to fuck her brother. So I think that you need to do this in public and be like, hey, we are in a serious, committed relationship. We are in love with each other. We are each other's person. Nothing can break up our love. And then wait to see what her reaction is. It could be weeks before she accepts it, if she ever accepts it, if she ever gets over you both lying and deceiving her. But the thing is if this is a casual thing, she doesn't need to know.
I also need to know if you can fight, because if I did something like this, I would go, as I do with the rest of my life, walking around knowing I could get hit, and I need to know that I can't be shocked.
Yeah, you start taking some self-defense classes.
I need to know how to defend myself, and I also need to know when I deserve it, and like if I did something, and anyone in their right mind would kick my ass. Like I just need to be prepared for that. Yeah. I can't act surprised. I agree with everything Melissa said. I will say, if you want to go even more diabolical, you create a whole fake backstory about the guy that you're currently dating, quote unquote. Hold on. Who completely broke your heart, and you're looking for someone, and you're like, this is just like, rebound. He ruined me. Like, what do I do? Like, I just want like a good guy. And then you're hanging out at her house all the time. We're assuming her and her brother live together. And, he plays the role of keeps comforting her and all of that. And you start as if you are falling for each other in front of her eyes. And then she goes, have you ever thought about you and my brother? Like, I feel like he's actually the great guy. And like behind your back, he's like talking to her, being like, I'm just so worried about like, I feel so bad. Like she doesn't deserve it. Like she's sorry. I mean, she's a great girl. I just, and I don't, oh my gosh, do you have let her think she's playing matchmaker and healing your broken heart.
I like that. I like that a lot.
It's diabolical, but
I like it a lot. I hope she doesn't listen to this podcast. If you're a good friend, then she should be listening to it. But maybe she'll hear this and then be like, I know this. It was all part of your plan anyway. So she could hear it and then start really thinking about what her brother and best friend have been saying to her.
And I always wonder, like, people think they're so much more slick than they actually are. And so I'm like, how well are you even hiding it? Yeah. You're just making your best friend and he's making his sister paranoid.
Yeah. So, good luck.
Let us know which path of chaos you choose, because I know whatever way, It's going to be chaos.
Right. And the thing is, this is, but am I wrong? So we didn't even have to give advice.
Hey,
but,
give that for free.
You got that for free. And so, am I wrong for not disclosing my mystery man to my BFF for right now? I don't know.
You'd be more wrong if you never contact us again. You give us no updates.
Mm-hmm.
Then you will go in the Hall of Fame of wrong. If not, you might go in the Hall of Fame of icons.
Right. So
we want to hear from you.
Keep us updated. Keep us posted. I don't want to hear back from you for the minimum in 2 months. Minimum.
Ooh, I was gonna say 7 to 10 business days. I think she works fast.
No, I need them to be steady for 3 months.
Okay. Unless you go chaos and you tell her immediately, then I need to know what happens.
Yeah.
I need a friend like that. Like I need a, you know what I mean? Someone who's just, they're doing it all for the plot.
Yeah. I've done this twice actually.
Everyone has. That's why we're all so harsh. Like, you can't do that. I did that and it was not good.
One of it was fine. Like, they were like cheering for it. They were excited for it. And one of them was just like, we didn't tell them to after it was over. And they're like, glad you didn't tell us to.
Yeah. That's a good way to do it too.
All right. Hello, Meghan and Melissa. Greetings from the UK. I did a summer abroad in college and stumbled upon your podcast years ago, and I've been listening since. All right, let's get into it. Would I be wrong to continue taking myself on dates now that I have a boyfriend? I've been dating a very lovely man for about 2 months. We get on great. Since my last relationship ended 2 years ago, I've been taking myself on monthly dates. It started out as a way for me to get out the house. Now it's a routine. I go see a movie and go to dinner on my own. I am an introverted extrovert, so it works for me. Well, my boyfriend asked if we could go out this weekend, and it's the weekend I have scheduled for my personal date. Would I be wrong to reschedule with him? My mates think I'm mad, even considering rescheduling with him when I can quite literally reschedule with myself. I just like my routine, I suppose. Also, does it still make sense for me to take myself out now that I'm in a relationship? Would I be doing myself wrong by not continuing? Thanks for your help. Cheers. So UK-ish.
Cheers.
I don't think that this is wrong. I think everybody should have a me day.
This is so you coded.
It is. I have my thing every week. I'm not strict to it, but it's me date, man date, work date.
Mm-hmm.
Every week. And friend date. Sorry, I forgot about friend date.
Oh, I thought you said
it. And so I think that having a me day is perfectly fine. I saw this old man on TikTok. Well, actually, it's this private investigator that I follow. She's here in LA. She's pretty cool. Her videos are hilarious.
Oh, you told me about her.
Yes. And so she was contacted by this man's daughter, and the daughter was like, I think that my dad is cheating on my mom. Can you do surveillance? And so this woman the PI goes on surveillance. This man is just having the time of his life by himself, going to the movies, went to hear some live music, went to a restaurant, was dancing around just by himself, didn't talk to anybody else. He was just having a good old time with himself. And he does it once a month. And the girl thought it was cheating. Why can't people enjoy themselves? Sweet. Right. Why can't we just enjoy ourselves sometimes? I don't see anything wrong with this.
I agree. I think it's fun. I think it's like a good time and healthy for you. And I also think that, like, unless it's an extenuating circumstance of like, oh, there's something that I got us tickets to that's like last minute. Mm-hmm. I don't love the idea of dropping everything that you have planned for somebody else, because then they can kind of get into the habit of that. Again, it's like if something happens, it's like, oh, I got this last minute thing and we don't ever do this or whatever. But I also think like it's good for the person on the other end to respect your prior engagements and respect like your own individuality and your own time, and knowing that like they don't just get the trump card.
Yep.
So
and not that credit card that failed.
I always forget about that. You know who also made a credit card? Danielle Bernstein. Rachel McBernstein with her doggy McDoggerson. and that ugly apartment.
It did take me a second again. I never
had to
remember
remind
this
you because I forgot
name.
about her before. So
you're the one that introduced me to her.
Exactly. And that's how it should be.
Yeah. We're going to take a break, and when we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
Merry Christmas, everybody! My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the hosts of Christmas Countdown Show.
We're so thrilled to be bringing the merriment to you all this holiday season. On Christmas Countdown, we love to count down our top 10 favorite things related to the holiday season. That could be food, movies, music, everything that we all love about this massively merry good time. So wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you click that subscribe button. Eric, are you ready?
I am ready, and we hope that you are too. Merry Christmas, everybody! Let's go!
Bitches on Comics is a bi-monthly interview podcast where we talk to the coolest LGBTQ plus folks and women in comics and pop culture.
Our unique perspectives and welcoming nature have earned us the honor of being named a Best Comic Book Podcast by Book Riot, Screen Rant, The Mary Sue, Comic Book Herald, and Comic Book Couples Counseling.
Bitches on Comics is hosted by moi, Monica Estrella Negra, filmmaker, writer, and co-founder of Audrey's Revenge Film.
And me, Essie Fleenor, comic and pop culture nerd and culture critic with writing in The Independent, Vice, Electric Literature, Star Trek, and so much more.
We're also both voting members of Gallica, the Society of LGBTQ plus entertainment critics.
Join Bitches on Comics for in-depth, hilarious, and heartfelt conversations with the likes of Stephanie Williams, Leah Anderson, and the late, great Rachel Pollack.
Listen to Bitches on Comics on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Or tune in at bitchesoncomics.com. New episodes every other Wednesday.
We are back. It's time for But Are They Wrong? And this is where we nominate a person, place, or thing, someone in current events, pop culture, who me thinks deserves. I'm doing ye old English. Who me thinks deserves a public shaming. They deserve to be talked shit about, not behind their back, actually in front of their face on this podcast. So I would like to nominate the TikTok shop, but also I'm sure they sell in other places, but they are a brand called Locked, and they make like forever bracelets or whatever, which there's a big trend. I mean, it's always been around and has like been a thing in like North Beach and San Francisco. You can get them, but like they have become like a big trend in the last couple of years where it's like fused on like chain link bracelets that don't have a clasp that has like a hook that comes on and off. But this is one that like, you know, you do at home. So it's like a one-time, sounds dirty, a one-time insertion and it doesn't come out. But like, you know, it's not a real clasp, but it fuses these two things together without pyrotechnics. And I saw this go down because I saw a creator, which I should actually look at what their name is because I literally wrote down everything else except for who made the original video. Renee, and their username is Renee McClintock, ReneeMcclintock. And she posted a TikTok and it has the bottom like creator earns commission clearly through the TikTok shop about like 10 out of 10, I don't recommend this brand. And I'm going to explain to you and tell you why. Basically, she reached out to this, like, you know, through the TikTok shop, you can get like partnered and brands can request you do reviews for either payment or reviews for most of the time for product. And then you can also inquire with the brand through just, you don't have to send an email. It's just a little click. Hey, I'd be interested in receiving this from this brand. And then the brand can be like, approved. Cool. We'll send them product in exchange for their review. That's what happened. She really liked the product, thought it was cool, and they accepted and said, we'd love to do a review in exchange for product. And so it was her anniversary coming up with her husband. And I think it's her husband. It was her anniversary coming up. And they got 2 bracelets and she put on his first and it worked great. And then she went to go put on hers. And for the quote unquote clasp, that's not, again, a real clasp, this didn't have a single hole in it. So the other one has a hole on one side and it feeds it through and then it locks in and then it's permanently on. And this one was just a malfunction. It just didn't have a hole in there. So you can't do anything with it. And so she sent them a DM on TikTok being like, hey, I just received like there's a faulty clasp. If you could just send me a new one, like I guess you said you have like 7 days or 10 days or something from the time you accept that you're going to do this partnership to release the video. And so she's like, well, I need to do this. So like, let me message them and let them know so they can send that to me. They don't respond to the DM. And so she sends an email to their customer service saying like, hey, can I get a replacement clasp? Like, here's attached picture of what it looks like. And at this point, she did not say that she was, this was like a exchange for a video. At this point, they think she's a paying customer. Mm-hmm. They didn't reply. Finally replied, and they told her it was $10. And she was like, clarified, being like, oh, sorry, I'm doing this through like TikTok and stuff. So like I am posting a review in exchange for that. And it says like on everything you talk about that like if anything's faulty, you exchange it free of charge. It's the advertiser, you replace that. I'm not looking to pay for this. And they're like, we can give you a discount, so it'll be $10. And originally it's like 30 or 20 or something like that. And she's like, what? No, like just send me through. Like, this is so weird. They ignore her. And then finally they email her and they say, okay, cool. We just canceled the partnership. So like, don't worry about it. And she was like, wait, I'm sorry. No, I still want to work with you guys. I really like your product. I just need a replacement lock for that, a clasp for this. Like, that's all I need so I can film the video. I want to film the video. Like, I really like this. My husband thinks it's cool. We're doing a video for our anniversary. Like, I still want to work together. Here's nothing from them. And then she, after like a weeks and waiting, and finally she was like hoping they would make it right because she liked them and like was like, no, I want to do this. This is a really cool product. Like, this sucks. So she finally went on TikTok and was like, I just would not recommend this customer service. Like, they weren't going to make me pay for it when they thought I was a paying customer, and they advertised that like, if there's something faulty, they will cover the replacement of it. Like, that's the whole point. And one of the things that they had advertised before is if you get this done and you have to take it off for a medical reason, they'll fully get you a whole new bracelet. And so it's like, you are not only offering if its product is faulty to send a replacement, which is just everyone's business practice. If you send something that is broken or does not work or is messed up, like not based on your preferences or your taste, but based on like actual fundamental how it works, you always send a replacement. They're going above and beyond an offering. If you have to take it off for an MRI or something, like we'll get you a new one. That's generous. So then she posts a TikTok about it, and they get in the comments and they lie, saying that actually she's the one who canceled the partnership. She didn't want, they were just out of the kindness of their own heart. They were like, okay, we'll cancel this because you said you want to do it for your anniversary and now you can't or whatever. So they left a comment saying, this is not what happened. You emailed us saying you didn't want to post the collab due to the faulty clasp and your missed anniversary, so we canceled the collab with you. Crying, laughing emoji. And she goes, that's not what happened. And she shows the emails and basically said, as soon as they responded saying they canceled it, she's like, I panicked and think, oh God, did they think that's what I wanted? So she clarifies in the emails from weeks ago saying, no, I still want to post this video. Like, I was looking forward to this. I just need the faulty clasp. So then they get into the comments, and to that video with all of the receipts, they comment, we would have replaced it if you weren't such a Karen. Laughing, crying emoji. And everyone was like, holy shit. So then if you go onto their page, the way that they're engaging with all of their customers who are commenting on their top TikToks or whatever, someone said, so if I buy one and the clasp is defective, do I really have to pay $10 for a replacement part? Not being snotty, legit asking because these are kind of cute. And they say, no, we replace clasps and bracelets for customers all the time. Praying hand emoji. Someone else said, I'm loving the comment section. They said, PR team not sleeping tonight. Someone else, send me one for free. Okay, what's your address? Like, they're being like catty middle schoolers who are like enjoying the trolling and being like, I'll be the villain if you want me to. It's giving very Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And that comment was wild. And then we get to another drama update from this girl. Someone commented on the Renee's post following up after we've gotten all these insanely rude comments from Locked. Someone commented saying, have you tried Fabulove? They're similar, but I'm not sure about the reviews. And then I was like, oh, she's just getting a recommendation. Nope, because the saga continues. And it was revealed that they are another like forever bracelet kind of company. Mm-hmm. And the owner of Locked months ago placed an order from their company for a bracelet, then said that she received a faulty clasp that didn't work and review bombed them and tanked their reviews and then launched her forever bracelet company on TikTok. And I'm like, whoa, were you thinking like that's so diabolical? Because I'm like, oh, cool. So did you think Renee was trying to launch her own because she's like, I've seen this game before. I've done this. And I'm like, no, man, you're actually the exception to the rule. That's psychotic. What? And she did it with like her real name and like all of this kind of stuff. So
wow, that's pretty cool.
It's one of those things where like when people like accuse you of something or they like assign like a malicious intent to something, I go, well, how would you get there? And I go, oh my God, because you did that. You relate to that aspect of it where something seems so far-fetched and they go, that doesn't seem far-fetched because you would do that. Whoa, telling on themselves. So that's as far as I know. But yeah, it just wild. And I really can't wait for this next place, Fabulove, to blow up as they should, where it's called Locked Shop, by the way. And Locked Shop just should get decimated.
Is the
bad one. Yep.
It sounds scary. Lock Shop.
I know. That's an odd connotation.
All right. Yeah, they're a horrible company.
Mm-hmm.
My pick may be surprising to many, and it's George Clooney. And you're like, he's such a philanthropist.
I'm ready to hate on any man.
And, you know, he has an age-appropriate wife. Even when he was single, mostly dated age-appropriate women. He is very active in left-leaning politics. He seems to be a great friend, especially to Sandra Bullock. But he's also a great friend to Brad Pitt.
Yep.
And not only is he a great friend to Brad Pitt, but he's a bad friend to Brad Pitt. Because instead of telling Brad Pitt, you know, since he's such a philanthropist and giving back to communities, instead of sitting down with his friend and saying, hey, your children don't even want your last name anymore. Hey, it's been reported that you're abusive to your family. Why don't we get some help with that? You know, and then once you've come back from actually learning and maybe giving back, you give a apology to your family and then a public apology since you're a public facing figure. And if they accept your apology, then we can work. They, as in your family, accept your apology, then we can work together again. No. George, Gorgeous George, as they used to call him in the 90s. George.
What a loser nickname.
I know. George, he, you know, Brad Pitt maybe he has behind closed doors to his family, but they want nothing to do with him. All his children are like, my last name is Jolie.
Mm-hmm. He might have the wrong phone numbers if I don't think those kids know that he's sorry.
Yeah. And like, it feels like every week one of them is like, I don't like that man.
That's not my father no more.
And so they had a TV show come out on Apple TV, whatever it's called. I was going to say Apple Prime. That's mixing two together. Apple TV, like 2 weeks ago. Like they're actively working together. They're talking about making the next Ocean's 11 movie or Ocean's, whatever the number is.
Yep.
And I'm just like, George, if you really care, you're this much of a humanitarian, you're this much of a person that has to write a public letter to tell Biden to sit down. Why don't you care this much about your actual friend circle, about getting him actual help? You're like, I need to help the country. Help your friends. Help starts at home. Help your friends.
Your boy.
Like, you want to make another Ocean's movie? Get your sister. Get Sandra Bullock. Let's get the boys and the girls together. We don't need Brad Pitt. We got Kate Blanchett.
We don't need Awkwafina either.
We don't need Awkwafina either. But we got Kate Blanchett and we got Rihanna.
We got Sarah Paulson.
Yeah, like
you're set.
We're good.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to be held accountable for his actions because he is essentially co-signing Brad Pitt. I don't like Brad Pitt. Piece of shit. But if you're co-signing a piece of shit, that also makes you a piece of shit. And you like people to think you're better than that. So be better.
Or you might end up in the next subject of a be better video.
Yeah.
I agree with this wholeheartedly. I bit my tongue for the first time in my life because I almost said well, the real reason why I don't think I could ever trust this man is who's his BFF. And I was like, maybe that's what she's going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel the same way about people who are incredibly close with Leonardo DiCaprio. And Leonardo DiCaprio, again, great humanitarian. There's some things that like non-negotiable unchill for me. And then I'm like, association with that kind of a thing. And yeah, I think Brad Pitt has rested by on the seemingly good looks. I don't know. He's not of my time. So like that. I was going to say, so Brad Pitt though, he's been able to coast on like the good looks on like, you know, everything. And was it him or Clooney? I think it was him who like Gwyneth Paltrow said protected her from Harvey Weinstein.
I don't know.
But he's who dated Nicole. He's who dated Gwyneth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's who. So she cites that and saying that like he really put himself in between the two of them and like he like, you know, protected her and all of that. And I've always found it wild that people are like this fall from grace of Brad Pitt when I'm like, cool, but Angelina Jolie was a whore or Jennifer Aniston was a whore. And like somehow this man, who's the only one who actually did like a massive betrayal to the person he owed it to, he was like, what a fall from grace. And I was like, I don't know how much of a fall there was versus how much lower can you go? Like this thing of like the good things that he did were they just like set him so high above the rest that we could forgive all of his terrible things. And like that to me is like so wild, but it adds up because George Clooney does wonderful humanitarian work. He does all this kind of stuff, but he also is like making an absolute insane killing from a tequila brand that he's profiting off of immensely. So, you know, and he's a Nepo baby. There's just one of those things where it's like
Nepo grandbaby.
Yeah, he's
like great grandbaby.
You know what I'd love to see in a takedown? I'd love to see Tony Goldwyn take that man down. He's like, I can out Nepo your Nepo. Yeah. And yeah, like it's just these men have something in common, and it's being a man. And that loyalty in that club is a club I would never want to be a part of because that bond of brotherhood is nasty.
Yeah.
I would never help a man bury a body. Would I help a woman bury a body? Yeah. I'd ask some questions depending on who it was.
Yeah.
But I'm never asking more than 3 questions.
Yeah.
And that's only for some people.
Yep.
For a man, I'm going, 911, hello. We have a murderer on our hands. So you're not wrong at all.
Thank you.
I can't stand that fucking man.
Every time I see his face, it makes me angry.
It makes me so mad. And I also think like we should never be forgiving people for being like horrible and abusive. But like, I just have to say he has been in a absolute aesthetic flop era looking so bad. And then these bitches will still bleed out for him. And I go, this man, open your eyes. Don't close your eyes and envision what he used to look like. You're going to bat for this ugly, current day, abusive, unshowered, greasy-haired man? He looks like the Chris Pine character in that movie that I want to say. But, like, not ironically.
Yep.
No. Well, that is it. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, you can leave us a review on the podcast app, or you could also leave a review on Spotify for the specific episode. You can watch the video version over on our Patreon. You can also join us for live streams that we have twice a month. It's a great grand old time if you want to make some new friends and you want to get in there quick because Melissa and I are having a business meeting tomorrow and the price will be going up, but you will be grandmothered in, as Melissa said. You'll be grandmothered in to the rate, the very affordable price right now. If you do this before we hike up those prices. Don't forget to send us things you want us to talk about, who you would like to nominate for your worst of the week. Tag us on TikTok and Instagram, and we might do it. And don't forget to send your submissions in and vote for the episodes. Can't remember if it's next week, this week, last week. Vote for them on the Instagram.
Vote for the eps.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we will look up Meghan. We will circle back.
I got distracted because Trump said he will not debate Kamala again. He got his viewing for. She was really
but
big.
Even
word.
The next one was gonna be like on his home, like Fox.
No,
so that's how bad it is.
Yeah, he said it really hurt my feelings. He had to buy a dictionary to see exactly how many ways she hurt his feelings.
Damn. Because everybody on Fox was like, "Yeah, he lost."
Yes. I swear to God, I think he had to go home and get like a conservative Mrs. Rachel type, like from the woman who makes those YouTube videos of like, oh, hi, honey. He needed someone to...
Rachel is.
Okay, I think I called her Mrs. Rachel, and I was like, that sounds wrong. Let me give more context. So it's Miss Rachel.
She is married, though, but yes.
And that he needed someone, like, he was like, he knew that Kamala was saying things, and then he had to go home. Like, can someone explain to me what she said? And they go, okay, so this is what you mean. You go, oh my God, that's so mean. I don't want to do that again.
After the debate in the spin room, when they're supposed to like ask you questions, if you haven't seen it, please go look. He's standing in the middle of this kind of just, you know how he like turns his whole body when he's looking at stuff, and no one's saying anything to him. There's just like a circle of people basically with their backs turned to him, and he doesn't know what to do.
Can I read you the statement?
Go ahead.
When a prize fighter loses a fight, the first words out of his mouth are, I want a rematch. Polls clearly show that I won the debate against Kamala Harris, the Democrats' radical left candidate, on Tuesday night, and she immediately called for a second debate. She is Crooked Joe and has destroyed our country with millions of criminals and mentally deranged people pouring into the USA totally unchecked and unvetted. And this man has never heard of a period in his life. And with inflation bankrupting our middle class, everyone knows this, and all of our other problems caused by Kamala and Joe. It was discussed in great detail during the first debate with Joe and the second debate with Comrade Harris. She was a no-show at the Fox debate and refused to do NBC and CBS. Kamala should focus on what she should have done during the last almost 4-year period. There will be no third debate. Also, people are making jokes saying, like, so as Swifties, should we be decoding? Is he leaving Easter eggs? What are the random capitalizations that he's choosing? What does this message mean?
No, that was his finger got in the way.
Yeah.
So, great. Love it.
I'm obsessed. I'm addicted to this man embarrassing himself.
What poll? Literally no poll, unless it was a poll that he took on his stupid app that he has. No poll has ever said that he won.
It's the poll of his heart. It's his poll. He goes, that's my poll.
I don't want to think about his poll.
No. And I just know for a fact, first of all, I know for a fact that this man wears diapers. Like, I just know he does. Like,
no, I mean, that's...
Yes. He wears...
Undoubtedly.
Because prior to that man was just shitting his pants. No diapers involved. Now he's got some diapers there. And I'm just picturing him curled up in the fetal position, crying on the floor. And Melania, he's like asking her to stroke the 6 hair strands he has left after he's removed his toupee. And he's in his diaper. And he's crying like a little baby. And it's an image I enjoy.
Have you seen him staying at... This was maybe a month ago. Probably, I think less. But he was staying at a hotel. And he came downstairs and he hadn't done his makeup or hair yet. The people behind the desk are horrified. I mean, they probably would have the same face on if he had his makeup and stuff, but I don't think he thought the press was going to be downstairs. Incredible. Also, check out what his mom's hair looked like. Exact same.
You know it's bad when your hair, the only thing I can liken it to is the reanimated corpses from the Mummy. Like, that is not the hair of the living.
No. Just let
That's
it go.
why people go bald, because, like, unfortunately, it's terrifying. It's really unsettling to look at. And especially, we've talked about this, people with candle faces. We've talked about the color. No. No. Wow. Okay. My eyes never gonna unsee that. That was horrifying. He also looks so confused.
Yeah.
Okay. Register to vote.
We've already circled back, but...
Yeah.
Bye.
We'll circle back again. Bye.
But Am I Wrong is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMont, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
And production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Laureau, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth.
Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Brennan Storr.
I'm Paul Bestall.
We're the Ghost Story Guys.
And every 2 weeks, we explore first-person stories of encounters with the paranormal from all around the world.
Then we have some fun reacting to those stories. We like to say our goal is to scare the hell out of you, then make you laugh.
Belief in the paranormal is not required. All you need is a love of great storytelling and curiosity about the world around you.
Subscribe to the Ghost Story Guys now on your favorite podcatcher to hear episodes like High Strangeness in Chicago, The Mystery of Missing Time, and The Haunting of Vietnam, along with dozens of others.
We've talked about mythical bridges, doppelgangers, haunted seaside towns, and so much more.
Remember that story about the guy who was trapped inside a dream and something was hunting him? That was upsetting.
Yes it was.
Want us to help ruin your sleep? Come find the Ghost Story Guys on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else fine podcasts live, or at ghoststoryguys.com.